What's going on, everybody? It's Jacob here, back with Amateur Hour TV for yet another video on the second channel. This second channel is where I like to just talk a little bit more basketball, NBA, with that extra little bit of focus on the Toronto Raptors. So if you want to see these consistent uploads, then make sure you are subscribed to Amateur Hour TV, and don't be afraid to drop a like to let me know that you are enjoying the videos, and it also helps us reach some new viewers. But as you saw from the title, as you saw from the thumbnail, we're talking about that incident in Game 6 involving Pascal Siakam and Joel Embiid, where Siakam inadvertently elbows Joel Embiid in the face. It causes an orbital fracture, and it also caused Joel Embiid to enter concussion protocols. And Joel Embiid missed the first two games of their series against the Miami Heat. And my goodness, did the 76ers miss him in those two games. He's supposed to be returning tonight with a mask for Game 3. But he missed the first two games, and ultimately down 2-0. That could have cost him the series. Miami are good enough to have won both games even with Joel Embiid there, but I realistically think Philly split that one if Joel Embiid is playing. So they're in a hole as a result of Siakam's elbow. And it was an accident. It's very clearly an accident. We're actually going to watch the tape in just a second. But the video I'm making is because I see Sixers fans all over social media asking the NBA why Siakam has not been suspended or what they're going to do to punish Siakam for this. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, it is very clearly an accident. It was very clearly a basketball move. And if you don't believe me, then just take a look for yourself here. Let's watch the tape. So Siakam drives in, complete basketball move, no malice. Look, he got him in the face. There's no disputing that whatsoever. It's a basketball move. Siakam is going with his hands, trying to get in position to make a layup, and inadvertently catches Joel Embiid in the face. Like, obviously, Joel Embiid extremely hurt off that. He claims that he knew he had an orbital fracture right away. But Siakam is straight up just going for a basket and catches Joel Embiid hard. Is Siakam reckless? I wouldn't necessarily say he went in reckless. I think it was just a very unfortunate incident. I hate injuries. As much as I may not want the 76ers to succeed in this second round series against the Miami Heat, I hate injuries. I want everybody to get a fair shot at their chance of winning an NBA championship. Injuries kind of ruin that, and it does kind of take a little bit away from a series, does take a little bit away from the game of basketball. So, I understand why 76ers fans are upset. The Raptors were down big when that event happened as well. I understand the 76ers fans being upset about this, but to be blaming Pascal Siakam in the manner that they are is just absolutely ridiculous. Calling for him to get suspended. It was a basketball move, maybe an offensive foul, sure. But as far as suspension goes, it's absolutely just not going to be the case. And I also, what really got me worked up to make this video is all these 76ers fans complaining about this. Joel Embiid isn't exactly a saint here, especially in that series. Now, a lot of, I'm not talking about the Scotty Barnes thing. He stepped on Scotty Barnes' ankle. That was a complete accident. I've maintained that. Obviously, Joel Embiid did not mean that in any way. I don't even think that play was reckless, like other people are describing. But there are a lot of reckless tendencies with Joel Embiid, and there are a lot of non-reckless tendencies in which Joel Embiid is purposely throwing around elbows. You saw it many times in that series, not like in the face, but a good cheap shot in the ribs. Joel Embiid was not shy of doing that on one or two occasions over the course of this series. So for 76ers fans to be complaining at this level over a complete accident for a player who is, I don't know if dirty is the best way to describe it, but lack of a better term, Joel Embiid can be a little bit dirty on the court, and that's what's got me worked up the most. But in all fairness to 76ers fans and just NBA fans in general, Raptors fans aren't exactly saints either, because when Joel Embiid stepped on Scotty Barnes' ankle, in which I just said was a complete accident, and if you don't think it was an accident, just please think about it. Please just think about it a little bit harder. Raptors fans threw a huge fit when Joel Embiid did that. And I'm sure a lot of Raptors fans were reacting in the same way when Joel Embiid did that to Scotty Barnes, as 76ers fans are reacting to Siakam with the elbow. And I 100% understand that. I 100% understand that. Raptors fans can be bad. 76ers fans can be bad. I know there's a lot of 76ers fans out there who disagree with the statement that, Siakam should be penalized even further for this. But overall, look, injuries are an unfortunate part of the game of basketball. 100%. Injuries are 100% an unfortunate part of the game, and they can come up at the worst times, and playoffs are such a small like it's such a small time frame that injuries are so glaring to a team's possible success in the playoffs. Because the 76ers going down 2-0 to the Miami Heat has way more than likely put that series to bed. Obviously, the Sixers, they could win 4 in a row. They could win 4 of the next 5 and win that series. They could win 2 games at home, and that series is 2-2. 100%. But you have to look at it from an odd standpoint. The very likely outcome of this series at this point, given the fact that it is 2-0, is that the Miami Heat will win that series, even if Joel Embiid does return tonight in Game 3. That's just a simple reality of this series at this present point. And if Joel Embiid had been playing in games 1 and 2, I personally don't think it would be 2-0 Miami. It very well could be, but I just don't think that would be the case. So, Sixers fans, I think they have very much the right to be upset. As a Raptors fan, especially in recent memory, I can't quite remember a time where an injury has just completely derailed a playoff run. So, maybe I don't quite sympathize or empathize from a personal standpoint, but I understand the reason to be upset. But your anger should not be directed towards Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam very clearly, as we saw in the video that I just had, Pascal Siakam is very clearly making a basketball move, trying to get to the rim, something he's done thousands and thousands of times over his career, hundreds and hundreds of times over the course of this season. There's nothing wrong with the way he went in. I don't believe it was reckless in any way whatsoever. Where his elbows up a little too high, maybe that caught Joel Embiid. But you see that like every other play. Every other play, a player is going to go up with the ball, trying to get a shot off. Like if you're down low, how the hell you can get the ball to get a shot off? So 100% a basketball move. And I think the biggest thing here, not that this takes away any sort of guilt. If there is guilt in this situation, which in this case there isn't, going to apologize to a player doesn't admit you of that guilt or take away that guilt. But Siakam was very apologetic, like right away. And Pascal Siakam, after the game, went out of his way to go talk to Joel Embiid and tell him it was an accident. And I don't know Joel Embiid's thoughts on this, but I think Joel Embiid, as an absolute realist, can understand that what Pascal Siakam did was a complete accident. And there was no malice in that attempt. Sure, you could say Game 6 was winding down. The Raptors were about to be eliminated. Maybe Siakam was pissed off. But there's just no evidence that would suggest that was the case. And I'm sure Pascal Siakam does feel bad, even at this point, watching the 76ers have to play without Joel Embiid. I'm sure Pascal Siakam does feel a little bit bad about that. But like I said earlier, injuries are a part of the game. It's an unfortunate side of basketball, but it is something that teams have to live with. If I had the choice, Joel Embiid would be playing games 1 and 2. He wouldn't be injured. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. And for the Sixers, Joel Embiid, who is listed as out for Game 3, I always felt like they listed him as out just to kind of mess with people, but like it seemed like the inclination that he was always going to play. I think there were some hurdles to leap to get him to play in Game 3, but I think they ultimately felt the entire time with a good amount of confidence that he was going to be ready for Game 3, and that is the case. Joel Embiid should be playing in Game 3. We'll see what kind of happens. Maybe this take will age poorly, but I believe Joel Embiid will play Game 3. I believe he'll be playing pretty well. As far as debating the outcome of this game, I don't think I'm going to go that far, but Joel Embiid should be playing tonight. 76ers win. They're back in that series, and we'll see where they can go from there. But ultimately, as far as this video goes, 76ers fans, shut up. If you're saying Savage be suspended, shut up. Raptors fans, if you're saying Joel Embiid is dirty and injured Scottie Barnes on purpose, shut up. He didn't injure Scottie Barnes on purpose, guys. Injuries happen. It's sad, but that's it. Just trying to keep everybody. If you're gonna argue about stuff, if you're gonna argue about basketball stuff, like actually argue basketball stuff, not if an accidental play was done on purpose. Like that's just a complete waste of time for everybody. And that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks so much for watching this one on Amateur TV. We do consistent uploads on this channel. And, this is just something I wanted to talk about, I feel passionate about, but just didn't feel like I wanted to make it a full video for amateur sports. So we put it here. You get the extra content from myself. Already working hard. I have a 9 to 5. I run the YouTube channel, the Twitch channel, and I'm happy to be doing these ones as well. Having a lot of fun with these. So make sure you're subscribed to keep up with the content. And don't be afraid to drop a like to let other people know that this is a video worth watching. Signing off. We'll see you again next time for another video.